Hi Virgo, welcome to my channel and welcome to your reading. So Virgo, I hope you're enjoying the vibes of this full moon in Aries. It's been a very strong, powerful moon and I'm enjoying it. I'm a moon person. So Virgo, I decided to connect to your energies and see what's going on. And as always, this is going to be an overall reading. It may not resonate with your energies right now, but just know that there's always a later. So you can always come back in the future and see what happens. So in the meantime, let's begin, Virgo. All right, so in this cycle, Virgo, the planet that is affecting your thoughts, your mind, is Mars. Mars comes with the element of fire. I remember in the last reading you had Leo, and Leo is also fire element. So Mars deals with determination. It's the energy we use to help us follow through and work at something. You know what I mean? Once we make a decision that we want to start a path and follow that path, the level of determination that we need in order to fulfill our purpose and to do what we want is fueled by Mars. So out of all the celestial bodies, every celestial body has their own responsibilities and they express an aspect of source energy in their own way. And Mars helps us achieve our goals in that way. In the last reading, you had Leo. And Leo was about reconnecting with your passions. And I remember saying that based on the energies that were coming out in that reading, the universe was giving you the green light to come out in the open and share your gifts, share your knowledge. It's kind of like being in the spotlight. And of course, the universe helps every sign to go through that process. So it's not just that we are that special. I mean, we're special. We're very special. But all the signs are special. And everybody gets their turn. So last cycle, in the last reading, the oracles were saying, hey, Virgo, this is your time to be in the spotlight. What do you have to say? What do you have to offer? Because, whatever we learn personally, then if it's something really juicy and it's really good, that a lot of people can benefit, and then it creates an impact in the collective where other people will come and benefit from your knowledge. So last time was your turn. It was your opportunity. And I remember the oracle saying, hey, I know there is a lot of contrast in your life. Not everything is good. There's a lot of negative things that are coming up, and everybody has to deal with, that stuff. But try to lean on the positive side of things. Although you're going to see negative stuff happening, see it as chapters in your life that are closing while other ones are opening. I hope you paid attention, Virgo, because sometimes the universe sees things that we don't. Sometimes our soul, from other perspectives, can see the things that we don't see from physical perspective. So in this particular case and in this particular cycle, the oracles and the way that they're representing and they're explaining this energy of Mars, what happens when we connect and reconnect to our passions, right, to draw creativity, is something very magical. And he's using this metaphor of the waterfall representing source energy, the fountain of all knowing and all possibilities, with the rainbow. So when we create or participate, so to speak, of the right conditions or the right frequencies in connection to source, magic starts happening. Miracles. We call them miracles. And we call miracles especially to those situations that we cannot explain. I don't know how it happened. Today, of course, with the opportunities that we have to have access to knowledge and information, we can understand this process a little bit better. But back in the days when we didn't know any better, we would see these things as miracles. Oh my God, I had a miracle. Miracles today can be explained. So that's good. Now, In this process, or miracle, if you want to call it that way, of reconnecting your energies or reconnecting your consciousness or your awareness into source energy and seeing the possibilities and knowing that there's other possibilities, there's always opportunities, there's always options. The question is how resourceful we can be, how receptive we are to the idea of, we're always connected to source energy through our soul. We have, right, that capacity and that ability to connect to source, but we do it by going inwardly and connecting to our soul. So that means that we're not just physical. That means that we're also energy. So if we work more cohesively with all the different aspects of who we are, and then we know when is the right moment to connect to source energy and draw information and knowledge, when to apply that knowledge, and then when to be more physical focused. So this is a dance of light and darkness that we have to learn how to manage. We have to learn how to, work with it, right? So with Mars in the mind, this is a very creative moment where you've been in the spotlight and you have something to offer. Everybody has something to offer. But if what you have to offer is something that has helped you in a really good way, and as you present it can help other people, the collective will know, and the people that will benefit from your information will come to you. Does that make sense? And that's part of your reputation, which it has to do with the 10th house, which is the house that has come up to represent and affect your emotions. But going back to Mars, one of the things that we need to keep in mind when we are in this process of reconnection, feeling more passionate, thinking more passionate, right? So I know that in my life, I have always a polarity going on. A lot of different situations that represent different frequencies. And there are frequencies that are really good and very positive, and there are frequencies that don't feel so good. And they're not necessarily negative in the way we see them. We have a tendency to judge those situations as really bad. And when we don't know how to resolve and reconcile those situations, we feel really stuck, don't we? And we all have suffered from that. We have this polarity going, but sometimes we get off the balance, right? And it's really hard to figure out what to do. Well, in this particular moment, the oracles are saying, hey, don't focus so much on those negative things, because we need to have an understanding that from the moment you shift your consciousness into something more creative, from the moment that you decide that you want to forge a new path in something new, and you no longer resonate with those negative things, some of the negative things that can be happening to you, magic begins, right? So there is first that recognition to source energy. We have to create the right conditions and communicate that information to source. And the only way we do it, we think it's through words. And yes, it's one of the ways, but it's also through how we feel, our emotions, the energy we have moving. That creates a frequency. And we have to be consistent. We have to have, consistency in that process. But we have to understand it to be able to be consistent. And then we start forging the way in which it's not only your thing. It's not just you doing the work. The universe also supports you in that way. Now, letting go. I had to take a moment to pause to connect the dots here, because everything is connected. And this is what the oracle wants to remind you. In the physical reality, we disconnect. And sometimes in the way we do, we call that death. But energetically, nothing dies. You can't destroy energy. And we continue to be connected. Does that make sense? Are you understanding that? So what you consider death in physical world and in physical reality, in the physical plane, energetically, it's not happening. But in order to shift into something better, right? This better, this idea of creating a better version of yourself, you have to disconnect temporarily from what you've done and now you know that it's not resonating with your energies, to shift into something that will. That process is one of the ways in which you can also purify your energies. In nature, fall, the season fall, represents that disconnection. And winter, right? We go under. It's another process of purification. The moon does it when it's waning. So when the moon is changing from one constellation to the next, and we call it rebirth, we call it new moon, it's the same process. And it's kind of mysterious, it's kind of a mystery. A lot of times we don't give a shit what the moon is doing, because we're too busy and preoccupied with the problems that we have in our lives and how to survive. We have been taught to be in this survival mode all the time, which it doesn't help, but we do it anyways because that's what we're being taught. But now we're getting away from that because, thank God we're in the age of information, and we have access to a lot of knowledge and a lot of wisdom that we can put into practice. The question is whether we want to or not. But in this particular case, you're being helped and supported by the universe to go through this process and clean your mind and purify your thoughts. And the best way to do it is through your creativity. Now, when we look at the emotions, the 10th house has come out to talk about authority. And of course, I'm explaining these things in, a little bit here, a little bit there, but ultimately we have to bring it all together because everything is connected, as I said. So with the 10th house, we're talking about Capricorn, the house of Capricorn. And I don't know about you guys if you've paid attention, but Capricorns are really hard workers. They work really hard. Now, do you have to work hard to achieve what you want? No, you don't have to. But you have to be smart, and you have to develop that capacity to use different strategies to see what works and what doesn't. You also have to let the universe know through your focus where you want to utilize your resources. So your personal resources is your energy, your vital force, but also all of the ideas that you decide to nurture, right? So, your opportunities in the way they're going to come to you is based on how resourceful you are. How open you are to change, how willing you are to adapt to those change and go through, go through the process of feeling discomfortable, getting out of your comfort zone. I've recently started to begin to understand that our personality, my personality of Sandra is another tool that my consciousness use to create a process and to, feel what it's like going through that process and learning the outcome. And I know these are, kind of sounds bizarre because in a way, it kind of makes you feel like you're a machine. But we are a spiritual machine. We are spiritual technology. And most of the technology we use today is mimicking our technology. So how useful, what's the difference, I should say? What's the difference between me seeing my personality and understanding my vehicle as a spiritual machine than just seeing myself as one thing? Okay, so these are different points of views that we can use to explore this physical reality. Now, part of my vehicle has the capacity to feel energy. And that's what makes a human being human or unique. It's very unique. We struggle with using that operating system, right? We struggle with feelings because there are times when we eat and taste certain frequencies that don't feel good. It creates all of these misalignments in our vehicle. And we suffer, right? But we suffer long term because we don't understand how to use our vehicle, how to use our technology. So we spend a lot of time trying to learn new technology, artificial technology, without noticing and understanding and realizing that we're technology too. And our technology is far, by far, way better than any artificial technology. I just heard somebody say recently that human beings are the AI of the mineral kingdom. And that sort of click. I mean, it sounds really cold from one perspective, but it does make a lot of sense. It made a lot of sense to me. But anyways, coming back to the 10th house. So the 10th house is talking about efforts and how your efforts long term build your image as well as your reputation. And again, in the way that you're developing that image, right? It has to make sense for the collective. It's about being resourceful and knowing that whatever you have to offer, it doesn't only help you, but it helps other people. So when people apply that idea or that knowledge or that information, they're also getting helped. Now, with this particular, in this particular reading, right, the 10th house is talking about obstacles. How sometimes it's true, we go through different challenges in our path, but those are the moments where we really need to stand our ground. So those challenges are not necessarily meaning that you're not capable of overcoming them. And it has nothing to do with our self-esteem, even though we associate them, with that. When you have a challenge, one of the opportunities that you have in that challenge is to ask yourself if this is what you really want to do. And there's nothing wrong with changing your mind. Now, what are the reasons? Why are you changing your mind? Is it because you doubt your capacity to achieve what you want? Because you have insecurities that get in the way of your capacity to achieve that goal? Or is it because you just don't want to do it? And this is where you need to be very honest and sincere with yourself, because you do have the capacity to achieve your goals and your desires, but you have to learn first who you are and the skills that you have that will allow you to gain what you want. And in that process, sometimes we can hear other people's experience and other people's advice, and it can be helpful. Sometimes we can repeat what other people are doing and it helps, and sometimes it doesn't work. But the idea is that, it's a work in progress, that little by little, as you take the risk in exploring those ideas, you learn a lot. And one of the best ways to learn is through those challenges. But that's the moment where you really need to be more clear if this is where you want to continue to go. And once you're clear, is to stand your ground and have faith. A lot of people talk about faith and they don't understand how to apply their faith. So faith comes from a belief system that we use. If your belief system doesn't sustain you in the moments, in the hard moments, in the difficult moments, when the energies are not mixing and blending in the way they need to, and then you need to step back and understand that you need to be conscious about connecting to source. So one of the ways in which we create a stronger connection to source is through a difficult time. Be in the receiving mode. So work with your vehicle in a way that it opens up to receive the information, have the level of patience to know that it's not going to happen through a conversation and it's going to happen right away. It's a process that can require. I started using the law of 3. The universe will bring you 3 signals, sometimes through different events or through people, that relates to what you're doing. So recognizing the patterns in your environment and how the universe communicates, because the universe communicates through sounds, numerology, symbols. Your subconscious mind communicates the same way. So a lot of times, we're waiting for the conversation and we're sitting around waiting for something to happen. I remember 2 years ago, I felt really stuck. I was not happy living where I'm living now. And I had opened a lot of doors in another state where one of my daughters lives in the Southwest. And I loved it there. It was really easy for me to open the energy there and to have the level of support that I needed. But my energy was divided because when I would come back here to what I call home, I didn't feel that way. I felt like I was done. But I wasn't fully done because my parents were here and they were getting older, and I knew that I needed to be available. I wanted to be available for them, even though if it was the hardest thing to do and I was miserable, blah, blah, blah. But I had my reasons why I needed to be here. So I would come here and I would not go out anywhere. And I was feeling miserable because I knew that my light was being supported in another place. But here was big city, all this noise, and I wanted to get out of here. So I felt stuck. Like, what do I do? And at some point I heard my guide say, the attitude that you have right now is not going to help you. You're going to feel more miserable. Your energy is going to continue to debilitate because over time, when you nurture an energy that that doesn't feel good, right? Your feelings tell you. They don't lie. You don't have to reason and you don't have to find all different excuses as to why you're going to, accommodate those feelings. Your feelings tell you right away when the vibrations that you're working with is not helping. But of course, I had already started working with the principles of the law of attraction. And the thing about it is that just knowing that what you put out is what you get, to manifest what you want, is not enough. It's not enough. It's a process. And it's a process where many little details has to be taken into account. So I decided, okay, so I'm doing this, but it's not giving me the results. So I need to find more information. And that's how I become resourceful, because I'm not afraid to ask questions. I'm not afraid to look for information. And I'm not afraid to receive the information and question it. You know what I mean? Like sometimes we have intuition. And our body knows when you're getting some good, juicy information. But I have to be careful with my mind because the tendency of my mind is to say that's bullshit. And I know better now. So even if it sounds bizarre and my mind has a hard time comprehending the information, I still follow that thread. So you have to start learning to follow signals and symbols and be curious. So when you are dealing with a challenge, those are the opportunities that the universe creates with you to change yourself and also change your focus and your different points of views, to get outside the comfort zone or the personality that you've created to get you this far and look at a little different. And that's when the shape shifting comes. And that's why they use here the eagle and the wolf medicine. Eagle is visionary, wolf is psychic abilities. So in that process, you start changing and transforming yourself, but also tapping into your skills, your own personal unique skills. You have that in your DNA and they're dormant there. So now we're talking about strength, power, fortitude, right? All of these wonderful things and qualities that we have as humans and spiritual beings, because we're not just physical, right? We're also energy. And with time, you grow and mature and become wise, right? What a beautiful thing. And wisdom is way better and more exciting than actually physical beauty. We spend a lot of money trying to do plastic surgeries. I don't condone that. And, whoever wants to do it, that's fine. And we do a lot of Botox and a lot of things to be beautiful and remain beautiful. And yet we don't understand that one of the ways in which your vehicle can look awesome and beautiful is through wisdom, because we're tapping into light. And that light can translate into ourselves. So anyways, but here the oracle is showing it as the druid. So these beings from the Celtic time that were really smart and very intelligent and very wise. Now, in every situation, we always have a tension going on. And in this reading happens to be Scorpio. And we know that Scorpio talks about transformations, change, death. But we already know that death does not exist. So every time we close a chapter in the physical world, it doesn't mean that we totally disconnect from those people or those situations. The level in which those situations or people are going to affect us is going to change. But it's based on our understanding of things. It's based on what we're learning from those situations. So here's where the oracles start talking about the heart center. But it's upside down. So it's talking about disconnecting from the heart center. The level of distortion that we create when we're not connected to our heart center. Because this is the energy or the chakra center that reminds us how we're connected vibrationally, but also is what gives us the capacity to mix frequencies and vibrations that usually don't mix according to the mind. Does that make sense? So the heart chakra allows for everything to come together, right? Or if we're not connected and we don't know how to work with the heart chakra, we become disconnected. And then what we perceive is distorted. That connection or that level of connection that we have the opportunity to operate from is what we know as love. And to think that our cells, the reason why they're together is because of love. And to think that everything that we create in this physical manifestation is because of love. Wow, that's powerful. So when we are disconnected from our heart center, or we don't know how to dance with our light and dark, right? When we don't know how to, jump and move from one side to the next, heart, mind, heart, and we don't know how to create the proper coherence between those two energy centers, we don't have what it takes, or we don't have the tools, all the proper tools to know when to choose what. We have the tools, we're just not using it. We have the technology, we just don't know how to use it. And we do have the technology. And it's much, much, much better than the artificial technology. And yet we don't know how to use it. And that's how we get stuck. All right, Virgo. So now that we have that information, let's just see how your energies are. I'm trying really hard not to make this video so long so that you guys get bored and we keep it going. So I just want to see how your energies are doing. So just know, Virgo, that also, okay, so I'm being reminded of something. When we, at some point, because with Scorpio here, it's also talking about repetitions, okay? For those of you who may be feeling like you're stuck in repetitions and you're kind of annoying. So, all right, so here you are, and the universe is supporting you along the way, this change in which your energy is growing and expanding, because maybe you have something to offer that is very valuable to the collective, and the collective is being informed that, hey, Virgo has what it takes and has the answers and the options. Virgo is resourceful. So your image and, your reputation grows. But it doesn't only affect the people that are around you right now. It also affects the people that you left behind. And here's when retrogrades come in, and when, we have to become aware how we're still connected to those people. Because let's say that in the past you met somebody who you offered something at that moment to that person that was really valuable, and that person didn't recognize it. That person wasn't ready. But now, because you have adjusted your frequencies in a way that is more powerful, right? You're now owning your power, right? And it's not about ego. This is about knowing that you gotta, harmonize the dark and the light. You have to work with your virtues and your skills and your capabilities, but you also have to work with your limitations. It's a dance. And it's a dance where you have to let go and release and, and forget and forgive. You know what I mean? And work with the emotions, because the emotions is the operating system that is always letting us know how we're doing internally and externally. It's the feeling mechanism that tells us right away if whatever we're eating and tasting, it works for us. And it has to work for us before it can work for other people. So when you get that, right, your your aura, okay, let's call it aura, your aura, or your, electromagnetic field expands, and it transmits, information that it expands to other parts of the planet. I mean, this is how powerful we are. We're like a battery. And I've seen this in visions, okay? When our energy lights up and when we're in alignment with all the energy centers, how the energy changes and it shoots out into the planet and all the beings can see it. I know, it's pretty neat seeing that. And I've seen it. So now you're not only affecting the people that can use your help, but you're going to affect those people that you left behind. And let's say, for example, that you had some sort of situation with somebody in which that person didn't recognize your value, didn't value you in the way that you wanted to be valued because that person didn't know any better. And now, during that connection, you created a knot in the energy that needs to be undone. And now you have a different perspective, right? You're not the same person of when you met that person and had that interaction with that person. You have a different point of view, just like that person. But the universe, through the retrogrades, correct that energetically. We have the opportunity to correct that. So that person can come back into your life or can be thinking about you because now is feeling the impulses, is picking up the impulses of your energy, and is realizing that what they did to you then was not correct, and that's because they didn't value the way they're valuing you now. But they can come back and try to reconnect with your energies, and you always have the opportunity to say, now from my perspective, I don't think so. Or maybe just say, you know what, let's give it a shot. Maybe I'm still interested in this situation, but a different point of view. And the reason why I'm saying it in this way is because sometimes when we change our perspectives and we look back, we have a tendency to do the opposite. With what I know now, I'm going to judge myself in what I did then. Even though now I know that I know something that I didn't know then. That experience helped me a lot to push me out of my comfort zone and continue my path and learn more, learn what I know now. But now I'm being really unfair because I'm looking at myself back and I'm saying, I should have known better. Why did I let that person? And these are the shit that we do all the time, that we make ourselves crazy. But anyways, I needed to bring that up because we are still being influenced by the retrogrades. So let's just see what's going on, Virgo, with your energy. I'm going to try to do this really quickly because I don't want to spend a lot of time and for you guys to fall asleep. Okay, the overall energy here is the Empress. In the heart, you have the Page of Swords. In the mind, you have the Knight of Wands, and you have a Page of Cups here in the recent past, a Queen of Wands. In the bottom, you have a Page of Pentacles, so we have two pages. Near future, you have the Four of Cups, the Hermit in the conclusion, in the fears, the Nine of Swords, and the King of Cups in the environment. So I see you as the Empress here, Virgo. But I see more than one person here. So there's something going on with a woman that is crossing your energy. And I feel like something happened between you and this person. And it's showing up as a woman. Someone is coming back. Someone is trying to reconnect with your energies. But is thinking about it. So I feel like there's a male and female. Of course, you can adjust this information to your needs. Somebody wants to come back, and so this person is thinking about reconnecting with you, but is afraid to do it because is afraid to be rejected. This is someone who is now going through a lot and is feeling like you're resourceful and you can help them, or you have helped them and they want to reconnect. But the thing is that this person has feelings for you. And now is having them in a way that is like a recognition, like, oh my God, I can't believe that I lied to myself. I also feel like there is a woman here that wants to connect with you. Shoot, and I wish I would have brought my other deck. Okay, so let me see this Queen of Wands. What's going on with this Queen of Wands? I also see a woman here who has now ended a cycle where This person has changed their mind about the way they feel about you, and they want to talk to you. Um, yeah, it's like this person is admiring for something that you've done, although they're not talking to you and telling you. So, two people that are thinking of you, they're admiring for what you do, but they're not telling you. Well, that's also always nice. Now, it's interesting that why are these people coming into your energy? And like I explained to you before, in times of retrograde, especially when we have Scorpio in the reading, this could be a process. But the idea here is to know that you're not being affected directly. Their energy, a lot of times people can be really mental, and when people are this mental, it can affect your energy fields. The importance here is for you to maintain and remain focused. Maybe you may have a feeling about these people. If they come to your mind, just know that they're thinking about you, but that's because of what the universe is doing with your energies. Is it your responsibility to do something about it? No, I would just do visualizations of how to keep your energy clear and not be affected by these things. But definitely you have a couple of people here that are showing in your reading, and these people are thinking about you. And remember also that we're beginning a new the next lunar cycle. We're going to have Libra and Taurus, and Libra has to do with our relationships, romantic relationships, and relationships altogether. So there's going to be a highlight in that. Libra also has to do with I think it's South Node, which has to do with karma. So, and we're not just healing the karma of now, but it's also multidimensionally. It has to do what we brought from the past. So this is big in a way, but I feel like your energies are fine. I think you're going to move through all of this beautifully if you relax and trust the process and follow your instincts. And again, if you feel you pick up some energy from these people, it's just know that it's just the way the universe is working through this stuff. Yeah, and there's someone from afar. This person is at a distance, and my God, this person they're really holding back, but they're really attracted to your energy, but they're afraid. And I feel like they kind of they're in a power struggle, because this is someone who is forcing themselves to like not notice and not do anything, and the more they try, the worse it gets. And that is justice. Okay, so the way the universe works justice is by removing the nuts that we create with people that we met, especially those people that could not appreciate who we were, and now they have to come back and they have to accept and realize that they made a mistake. Do they always have to come back in a three-dimensional reality and openly say, hey, I'm sorry? No. But one of the ways is like this, is realizing, oh my God, what did I do? Missed opportunity. So anyways, let me just see here quickly how this all going to change in the near future. But definitely somebody here is reconnecting to your energies. I like that you are showing up as the Empress. So you definitely got it going on, Virgo. I know that I'm connecting with a particular Virgo here, a very specific Virgo. So let's just see how all this change in the near future. Oh, this is great, Virgo. This is great. 6 of Wands, so meaning like you got this. And then you have the Magician. So whatever it is that you're focusing right now, Virgo, that is making you hold back in certain things, but invest your time and energy in other things. So that level of discernment that you may be using right now, and if you're not, you're being encouraged to do it. It's really going to be beneficial to you to make the proper choices. Somebody's definitely coming here, and they're going to hold back right now, but eventually this person is going to show up in your life. It's going to be maybe a little bit unexpected, and they're going to come through as, oh, this is just all very casual, but no. But no. And I'm talking more about, the attraction, the emotional attraction. With the woman, oh yeah, definitely. See what I mean? Justice. Yep. Universal justice is coming with the Chariot. These two cards are confirming what I just said. So, all right, Virgo, 40 minutes. I hope it's not too bad. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.